Hello, it's Rayhan again, and a lot of you have come to me with questions about what a tournament experience looks like and what's the best way to make your tournament experience the most comfortable in respect to Extemp. So I've decided to create a video about it in order to address all of your questions at once so I don't have to keep sending messages or meeting with people continuously.
So as for an outline of what this video is going to cover, it's mainly going to cover my 4 biggest tips when it comes to making your Extemp experience at a tournament comfortable. And so the first one is getting into a comfortable space. The second is writing your room number down. The third will be introduction, and the fourth will be closure. I'll cover all these topics in detail in this video, so you might want to write them down if you're taking notes or whatever helps you the most, I guess.
Okay, so my first main tip was to get into a comfortable space. And for those of you that haven't been to a tournament, Extemp Draw is normally held in a local school's auditorium, which is like the large room where plays and theater, etc. happens. And so what you want to do is to get into a space that will allow you to maximize your preparation ability. So what I wouldn't do is sit next to my friends, because they may distract me during Extemp Draw, especially when you're starting Extemp as a beginner. And 2, I would avoid large groups of people or confined spaces that may limit your preparation ability or distract you once again from your preparation. 2 things I would do is the first is I would sit next to outlets as much as I can, especially if you know your laptop or phone is going to need battery during Extemp Draw or after. And second, and perhaps most importantly, I would sit as close as comfortably possible towards the stage that they're drawing topics on. This is because a lot of schools have large auditoriums that have 30 to 40 rows. If you're sitting all the way in the back, in the middle of one of these rows, you'll waste precious time that could be used in preparation. Another tip I would use, depending on how packed the auditorium is to sit on the edges of rows simply because it's easier to get out and you don't have to get past people. So overall, just make sure you get a comfortable spot inside of the auditorium that poses little to no distractions towards you and can provide an outlet if necessary. So my second tip was to write your room number down somewhere. Now, a lot of tournaments may allow you to use your phone to take a picture of your room and then you can go to your room, but why would you want to keep turning on your phone just to get to your room number for Extemp? And knowing your room number is essential because if you don't, you're more likely to get lost, you'll get stressed, and you'll forget essential components of your speech right before you give your speech, as well as maybe even annoying your judge because you showed up late as you were lost. Not a good way to start your speech, trust me. And so what I would do, and perhaps this is the piece of advice I've used the most, is when you get your topic slip, I would write your room number either next to the question or on the back. That way, your topic slip is something that you're going to bring to your Extemp room no matter what. You know, you might leave your flow behind, you might leave your phone behind, but you're going to have to take your topic slip because you have to give it to your judge. If you lose your topic slip, well, that's another issue. But I would write your room number on that topic slip because it'll get you to the place and it'll make sure that you have your room number no matter what, making sure that you don't get lost and that your tournament experience goes as smooth as possible with you only being worried about giving your speech. So my third tip was to introduce yourself. Remember, at the core of it, Extemp is like a conversation about politics, albeit one-sided. And so like any conversation, you want to introduce yourself because you're basically having a conversation with a stranger. So instead of walking into your room and plopping your topic down on the table and just starting your speech, it'll help you get more comfortable in the room and it'll help your judge just get to know you and maybe even rank you higher if you introduce yourself. Just something like, hello, I'm Rayhan, or something like that to get the judge to get to know you, as well as kind of ease the tension in the room, especially because a lot of people when they enter their first Extemp speech are extremely nervous. Introducing yourself can really make you stand out in a good way. So now that we've talked about introductions, we have to talk about closures as well. And this one is pretty simple. I normally wish my judge a good day. Or just give him, ask him if you would like the next speaker to come in or not. Your judge is a lot like your friend in the sense that you wouldn't talk to him extremely casually, but you would also, you'd also want to maintain a warm relationship with your judge. So making sure that he knows that, you're human, you're just having a conversation will really go a long way in making you stand out in your judge's mind. So just remember to be relaxed, especially when leaving the room, and don't act like the judge is simply there to watch your speech. Rather act like he's a person and a human as well. Okay, so those are just some general tips over tournament experience. So once again, I'll go over them real quick. The first was to find a comfortable space. The second is to write your room number down. And the final is to introduce yourself and provide closure to yourself the same way you would end a conversation. hopefully these tips helped you and will come in handy in your first tournament. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send them out on Remind. I'll probably make a couple more videos, seeing that a lot of you guys have the same types of questions, just rephrased. So yeah, thanks.